few days ago, I was browsing through GitHub's Explore tab, looking for repos related to Unity and C#. I stumbled over a group called the Unity community. This has probably been around for ages, but it's my first time seeing it. More importantly, I saw this UnityLibrary, a library of useful scripts, snippets and shaders.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I only started looking when this camera shake script caught my eye.
Wow.
I've been looking to create my own cam shake script anyway, but I soon realized it was in bad shape. Overly reliant on member variables, unnecessary booleans, magic numbers, and so on. I decided to start rewriting it, and it ended up being merged through a pull request. But only after did I realize the entire library had been deserted for years. And the code I was changing was more than half a decade old. Aww. I liked the original idea though, and there was more that I wanted to do here. So this is my attempt at pseudocode. The original code had a public shake method where we could initialize values. It then triggered a coroutine that would perform the actual shaking. All well and good. The original script kept the strength values on the camera itself, which means every time something would call for shake, the shake would have been the same values. I removed this part. A slap in the face, a bullet in the chest, or an explosion should all have different strength values. It's the cause of the shake that should know those values, not the camera. So I added those values as arguments to the public shake method instead. Now we can clamp those values, perform modifications, and then start the coroutine from there. I then added influences. This will act as a multiplier and also a toggle. A value of 0 means the camera won't be influenced, while a value of 1 means it's 100% susceptible to shaking. Different cameras can have different values. Here is a look at the code that I submitted. Here is the public shake method. We don't start if it's already shaking. We save the original values so we can restore them properly. We randomize the intensity between minimum and maximum. Duration is also influenced. We start the coroutine. The coroutine counts down from duration. Intensity starts at the highest value and slowly decreases over time. Countdown decreases from the starting value, which drives to shaking. Once complete, we reset our values and turn off. In Uni, I have a simple scene setup. We have a particle system that will explode, and a camera, which will have the camera shake script, as well as a trigger object, which starts the particles and triggers the camera shake. Here is the trigger script. I will control it through the keyboard. We play the particle system and shake the camera with some low starting values, just to try it out. It works. Unfortunately, the particles keep playing. Just ignore that. Just ignore it. We can play with the values. But what about distance from the camera? Let's overload the shake method to have a similar method, but with a set value instead of a randomized one. A simple intensity and duration will do fine. Back in the trigger, we calculate the distance between the explosion and the camera. Let's save the distance as a float. Create a strength value. And a new method to calculate the magnitude of the shaking based on the distance. We start by clamping the distance. We don't need overly large values, and never less than 0, if that will even be possible. Now we can use this inverse lerp. And I'll be honest, I had never used this before. But it will return a value between 0 and 1, where 0 is further away than max distance, and where 1 is right on top of us. Back in our scene, I'm tired of looking at this explosion. I'll just have a sphere to show me where the object is. The closer the sphere is, or the explosion, the larger the shaking will be. This works great, but I have no control of the strength. Luckily, our lerp value is between 0 and 1, which makes it a great candidate for another lerp function. We can lerp between the minimum and maximum magnitude. We define a max run. Distance is clamped. Our lerp is based on distance. It moves between 0 and 1. Our strength value is lerped on the distance value. change the max distance and strength values. As we go closer, it's a larger shake. As we move away, it's a smaller shake. The camera needs a max shake amount number, so we don't accidentally set it very high values. Let's create a max shake magnitude float. In the attribute, we can also add more attributes. Here I'll add a tooltip. I'll add some of the other numbers as well. We can now apply the max shake magnitude in the process shake coroutine. That way we don't have to copy it for both the overloaded functions. I changed the max value to be between 1 and 2, so it doesn't interfere with the influence. Influence is both a toggle and a weight. Different cameras could be influenced differently by the same explosion or whatever else might be causing the cam to shake. The max ceiling just clamps the maximum value if it's too high. I will extract some code here, so the overload methods don't need too much copy and pasting. We can hide our member variables in a region, which is a nice way to tidy up. And usually you don't have a direct reference to a camera like this. Instead we can add a start method to find the main camera. You could also do injection, use a singleton, a manager object that finds the cameras depending on your game or application. I added the explosion back in, and now we can see the full effect and how it shakes at different distances. Okay, so last touch-ups here. Just like we have a maximum distance where there is no shaking, we can add a minimum distance where everything within it is at maximum strength. We also want to visualize this. Let's use gizmos to draw the ranges in the scene view. Here we see it in action. A sphere surrounds the object. As we change the values, the sphere also changes. And if the camera is outside, there is no shaking. I'll add a gizmo for the maximum, and I'll add a gizmo for the minimum. We'll make the outer distance yellow, and the inner distance can be red. We can now easily see and understand both of them. If our camera is within the yellow circle, it shakes, and if it's within the red, it shakes at full strength. We can see the value 1 whenever the camera is within the red, and it peters out towards 0 as we get closer to the outside sphere. I'm also going to move the trigger from a separate third object and just move it to the explosion. I should have done this from the start. I'll rewrite the dependencies quickly, and here in the end we have two scripts: cam shake on the camera and the trigger, which can be attached to any object. When the trigger is called, it tries to shake the camera, and depending on how close it is and the variables we've set up, it will. We could attach this to something like a grenade or something similar. This is just an example of how you could use it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this one, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Until next video.